How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Patty, and we ain't got no jokes today, cause jokes on us today. Real quick before we get into today's video, where we're taking a look at side stuff and everything, there's a few things that I want to talk about. Clearly, they did not mean we get a triple S mount. All right, so let me kind of collect my thoughts on this a little bit. So. I am very, very grateful that I did not just mention it offhand and that I showed the post on Facebook that said we were getting a triple S mount. Because a lot of times in the past, I've covered stuff that they've mentioned on Facebook without showing it. I've just mentioned it offhand, and I'm really glad I didn't do that this time. I was going to, but I'm glad I decided to put that post in. Otherwise, I would have had a bunch of people angry at me today. But now you guys know that I don't want to say lied to, mistranslated to as well. So, my biggest issue with this at this point is the fact that they just went back and edited the post. They didn't, make an announcement or anything like that after they realized people had those expectations. And people that are saying like, oh, well, it's, there's different tiers of mounts and everything. Like, yeah, but they don't call that tier triple S. That's just a high-end mount. Or motor, excuse me. High-end motor. Not a triple S motor. So, that's kind of a hard mistranslation for me. And I understand it happens. And I'm, more upset that instead of saying something and correcting it, that they just went back and quietly edited the post when all of us were like, what just happened? So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I put a lot of work to not feed into a lot of negativity in certain things. So I don't want to go too ham on it. I'm pretty bothered by it, but and there's a few people that was like, why did you expect them to do that? A, because they said it. And B, with pay-to-win games, there's often a like, oh, let's give you a little dose of something because a certain number of people are going to get that little piece of it and be like, oh, I need more of this. And then they would, go ham. So I could see them giving one triple S motor out. That there's a lot of people that, don't follow stuff on YouTube, don't look at the highest level players and everything, and probably have no idea the insane stats that you would get from a triple S motor. So I could see them giving everyone one of those because a certain number of people are going to go, well, I need more of that. I need all of that. And then they would spend a bunch of money. Why do you think there's a free 5-star ally in each ally event pull? Or the first one, excuse me, because they want you to get that and then keep doing it. So, that's where my head was at after seeing that. So we'll go ahead and brush past that. Some other stuff that I mentioned towards the end of yesterday's video. So essentially one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is get clips from the community, so that I can kind of string them all together. I'll be able to use Adobe Premiere to basically just drop all of the movie files that I get from people into a sequence and be able to put it all together in one video without me having to watch or see any of it. That way it can all still be a great surprise to me. But I would love videos from you guys. If you have any clips that you want me to see, if it's something just really cool or something you think will make me giggle, I'm gonna take anything. Please don't be bad with them. Don't make Petty blush. But I think that's a really cool thing, and I want to kind of just mention it in all the videos that we're doing, just to try and get as many as we can and everything, and see if we can do this, once a week, once every couple of weeks, something like that, see how that goes. Another thing on that front is by this weekend, I am going to have a Discord. I am trying to get some help setting that up. But at the very least, I am absolutely going to make it and have it up this weekend. So keep an eye out for that, and that's going to be a place where I can, hopefully get some of those submissions. You can also send them to me directly through Discord. I'll put my Discord stuff in the description down below. But yeah, just keep a lookout for that. Another thing with that is I'll be able to, like, post notifications and everything to that for videos. Something that I became aware of recently on YouTube is that based off of the number of subscribers that first see your video, and if they like, comment, and interact with the video, that then depends how many more of your subscribers are going to see the video, and then how many people outside of that subscriber bubble get it. So this is Petty's. Could you guys please like and subscribe and do all that stuff for your boy? I super appreciate it. It super helps out the channel. And just leaving comments and liking the video as a subscriber gets the video pushed out to more subscribers. You would think that they would just go to all subscribers since y'all subscribed. But nah, we gotta like trick it out of them to show people. And that's another thing that'll be great about the Discord, is that if you are in the Discord, you'll get the alert from Discord when I post a new video. So it completely bypasses that whole ridiculous system of trying to get you guys to help me show it to the people that are already subscribed. But a lot of people showed a lot of love yesterday, and I really, really, really appreciate you guys. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I'm really just here to try and share whatever knowledge that I have or that I can find out that'll help you guys out. In games like this, a lot of information is very hard to obtain, and I want to try and help give you guys the best information, so hopefully you don't waste, you waste as little of your resources as possible, because it's very difficult to get certain resources in this game, and if you waste them, it's either a long road until you recover from that, or you spend money. So just want to do what I can to try and help people. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're one of the new faces, Petty loves you. He does a lot to try and look out for the community, and I really do my best to be positive and put the most positive stuff out there that I can. So I apologize that I'm upset at the beginning of this video, because I'm usually so nice and sweet. I'm just, I'm a doll. Alright, so thank you for hanging through all of that. There's a lot of things that Petty needed to say today, and I apologize for that. Let's talk about Scythe Predictions. So I'm over on the CN side, spying like a good little boy does, and between some information that I've gotten from people and some stuff that I'm seeing on the CN side, there's a few things that I want to talk about, and this is all predictions and just what I'm kind of gathering and putting together, so don't take any of this as absolute fact. It's conjecture. But since I've been covering this game for 3 months, I have many times been told, oh, well, this is how it is on CN, or this is what they're doing on the CN side. And it wasn't until I was actually able to get onto the CN side and take a look at things myself that I find out, yeah, a lot of that information was not correct. The game of telephone is very, very real. I'm sure some good information was passed along at one point, but that's not what ended up in front of me. So there's some interesting stuff that I'm seeing once I'm digging into everything over here. So let's real quick take a look at some core stuff, and we're going to use rankings for this essentially. So this right here is our list of classes, because I can clearly read Chinese, and we got Blade, oops, don't go away on me. So we've got Blade Masters real right here. You can see that when we click on them. Gunslinger is going to be the next one down. All right, so on and so forth. I'm going to wait to tell you which class this is. Just look at those numbers. Okay. And then look at some of these numbers. And then we've got, I want to say, Soul Dancer? Yeah, look at your boy. He knows. He knows. And then we've got Fighter here. Yeah. And then we've got Scythe down at the bottom. So just flipping through this, I want to see if you guys notice anything. Just looking at some of these numbers. So this is, obviously the top players of each class are the whales of each class, right? Well, a good way to determine what the popularity of a class is, or how strong certain classes may be, it's a good idea to get an idea of where the whales are going, okay? So if we look at Blade Masters, there's some whales showing up here. Most people are, are in the, like, 3 to 400,000 range. Over here in Gunslingers, got some more whales showing up, and also the biggest whale. I'm pretty sure this is the highest ranked person on here. Yeah, they're only, man, that's not double what that one is it? Ooh, that hurts. So, if you haven't guessed it by now, this is Assassin. And this makes me super sad as someone that was an Assassin main until Fighter came out. They ain't getting a lot of love on the CN side. Which probably means that their damage and utility and their strengths start to fall off when compared against some of the other classes. That's conjecture. I can't say that's fact, but that's what I think when I'm looking at these numbers, okay? So, I mean, we still got some people rocking Soul Dancer, but not too hard. Definitely seems that whales gravitate towards the I want to kill stuff classes, right? So, Fighter, we also see another over, what is it, over a million? Yeah, over a million rating. And then some, upper 70s. So that's, if you look at some of these other ones, you can definitely get an idea of where some of the healthier populations of high-paying players are. And people that spend a lot of money are going to gravitate towards things that have high strength, that have, good damage. I think it's pretty easy to say that Gunslingers, still one of the top damage, whereas we kind of see a pretty sharp fall off compared to Assassins. So out of DPS classes that we started with in the game, Gunslingers, you kind of winning. So that's just to kind of give you an idea of how I'm looking at these rankings and the kind of stuff that I'm getting from it. And, you might say, like, well, that's not, indicative of what the average player is going to be. Well, what I actually want to talk about in here is the cores for Scythe and the things that I'm seeing. And I've gone all through this list. I went, and we'll click through it too so that you see what I'm talking about. But I went down to the bottom, checked 20 up, started from the top, and checked 20 down. And I found something really, really interesting. So let's go ahead and start looking at cores. So keep in mind that CDR is supposed to be one of the most important things for the Scythe class, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta be. They put the M next to it, which means it's the main one. But we're seeing some interesting stuff in the core. Now, not every Scythe player is skipping out on CDR runes or cores, but a lot of them are going damage. I'm seeing 9 fire, 5 wind, and then 2 water, or 9 wind, 5 fire, and then 2 water a lot. And about a third of the time, I'm seeing people that have 9 water and then 5 fire. I'm actually trying to find one now so that I can be like, look, there is someone that does it. This you also see occasionally, where they're doing 9 fire, 5 water, and then 2 green. But it's not super common to come across one that's full 9 water, which is what I would assume you would see if CDR played as big a role as they're insinuating that it does. Somebody recently left a comment on one of my either videos or posts, I'm not 100% sure. But they were saying that, someone had told them that the reason that Scythe goes for really high CDR is that essentially that it helps refill their little meter here. So it's supposed to fill this up nice and fast, right? Well, that's a little bit confusing to me, because if we go into here, the only thing that I think might be what they're referencing is that when you're in your Tomcat form and you're attacking, you do get a little bit of this back. And I don't know if, the CDR is so that you very rarely have to go back into Raven. But your regen is so quick in Raven form that the CDR and regen has to have nothing to do with that at all. because you can just stand there in Raven form, and in the 5 seconds it takes for the skill to switch back to Tomcat form is even available, you're back at full like resources. And this is not a crazy geared character. We've only got 50,000 rating. This is a baby Scythe, okay? Just an itty bitty Scythe. So we don't have any crazy CDR or anything like that. We've got a little bit, but it's nothing absolutely wild. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that, potentially CDR is supposed to help the very small passive amount that you're supposed to get when you're in your Tomcat form to give you a little bit more time in that form before you have to switch to Raven. Maybe at a certain point it gives you like, another 20-30 seconds or so before you have to pop back over to that to really get it all back real quick. But as you can see, it just comes back so fast in Raven form that the CDR and snacks, I can't remember what they're actually called, but we're going to call them snacks because that's what the crappy translation said. But there's, it just can't have to be with that mode. And another thing that I want to touch on that's very, very possible is it's perfectly possible that a lot of these players are able to get the CDR that they want or the certain threshold that they need to meet through other means, so they utilize the space in their core to go for more damage stats to try and eke that out. That is also a possibility. It's very hard to know when you're, looking around in a game that you can't speak the language. So it's a little difficult to piece all that together sometimes. So it's just one of the things that I find interesting. I'm trying to think of, there's one other thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to some of the stuff that I was seeing on this side. And I honestly can't remember what it is now. This is why you should write scripts, Petty. This is why. No, you want to do your live show or you just rant at people. I know. But one other thing that I do excuse me. One other thing that I do kind of want to touch on is that Scythe is the most recent class that came out on the CN side. And if we compare it to what we see in terms of, high level players in the other classes, they're not really gravitating to Scythe. So that can tell us that Scythe is not a super overpowered broken class. We can still see more higher, or at least one really high fighter still on this list. One thing that I will say is that we at least have a solid amount of not, super whales, but we've got more in the 700,000 range here than we do in a lot of these other ones. So like Gunslinger has the biggest whale in there. And then after third place, it immediately drops down into the 600 scale. Same thing over here where there's a good, top 3 people, and then you don't see a whole bunch after that. Rest in peace, Assassins. This is the most depressing thing that I've seen all day. And there's a lot of, okay, never mind. I have to walk that back. There's a lot of awful stuff going on right now, and this is sad. This ain't that sad. But just rip to your boy for apparently picking the class that people show up the least for after a year of the game being out. Rough stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But and then you really don't have any 70,000s in here. So there's definitely still a good amount of interest in the class. So it's, obviously not bad. But you have to kind of wonder what's going on when none of the major whales are throwing their weight behind the class. So it's interesting. We'll see what it pans out. I think that Scythe is going to do really, really well in PvP, given all of the mobility that they have, all of the utility on debuffs that they have. And maybe it just doesn't translate as well into PvE, and the game is mostly PvE content, so that's maybe why we're still seeing people, gravitate towards gunslinger, blade master, and fighter a little bit more. Rest in peace, assassins. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely excited about this class. But if you're afraid that it's going to be absolutely game breaking, I don't think you need to worry about that, boo. All right, guys. I think that'll cover it. We're going to go ahead and try and have an actual Scythe Guide out before the class comes out next week. Oh, by the way, if you missed yesterday's video, Scythe's coming next week. So, just so you know. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I apologize for the stuff from yesterday. I'm still mad. But I really appreciate your face. If you liked, if you commented, I love you. Thank you so much. And you're going to have to catch your boy in the next one, because we out of here. Deuces.